are entering that part of the year where each NFL performance has more and more weight on the playoff aspirations for a team and therefore the demand for their rookie card. Some will continue to free fall out of control, while others will step up and seize the opportunity that ultimately demands you to press that buy it now or bid button. So here are my targets for week 8. 3 buy opportunities and 2 sell now on the hype. Let's dig in. The Bucks have failed to score more than 21 points in 6 games, already besting their total number from 2020 and 2021 combined. However, Tom Brady does not look washed at all from an arm talent standpoint. More so, he's dealt with plenty of injuries to his wide receivers and his offensive line. His passing volume remains sky high. He ranks 3rd most in pass attempts, 3rd in pace of play, and he should lead to bigger days ahead inside of a passing game that continues to have plenty of talent at his disposal. Up next for Tom Brady is the Ravens, 26th ranked defense in fantasy points per game allowed to the position. The Bucks are still tied for first place in the NFC South, and Brady's rookie cards are at 52-week lows. His most popular card being the 2000 Bowman, PSA 10 population of 1,121, and you can see just how much this is down from the playoff time last year of 23,600 to now at 9,500, and this trend carries across the board. So for example, when I'm looking to target Tom Brady's rookie card, he still is the GOAT. I am looking for anything that kind of shows the New England Patriots, that rookie element, something like this impact. The Bowman obviously is most popular. The press proof, this Paramount right here, hollow silver, plus the base variation is a nice card. Here's the Paramount base. You can see it has a pop of only 290, 503 on his PSA 8. And in fact, here's a BGS 6 listing on eBay with 9.5 centering, 9 corners, 9 edges, but a 5 surface. So overall it gets a 6, but still it's authenticated, it's verified, and it's selling for $149 OBO. The current trend on this card for a PSA 8 and an SGC 8 and a BGS 8, which have 61 sales in the past year, is an average of $200. So I would say if you could get this card for around $120 to $130, you're actually sitting in a pretty good spot, and you have a piece of the iconic 2000 rookie year of the GOAT, who I do expect to buck the trend here coming down the stretch, and in fact make that playoff push out of the NFC South. Real quick reminder, if you're new here, welcome to the Football Card Quest. My name is Andy. You can access the full Hype Index rankings and chart, including the Keep 'em web app, unlock the entire football card experience, Discord access, the whole 9 yards. Check it out in the description below. Number 2, looking at the Hype Index list and going down this list, you can see Patrick Mahomes. He should be a little bit higher, but he's on a bye week this week, so we have no real expectations this week in week 8 for the man. But looking at this list, I gravitate right here to Joe Burrow at my number 4 most hyped quarterback this year. Burrow has posted back-to-back fantasy QB1 overall finishes and rather breathtaking performances against the Saints and Falcons, but the hobby hasn't knee-jerk reacted to this like they have Bailey Zappi. Overall, he's thrown for 781 yards and 6 touchdowns during this stretch to go along with 4 25-1, 3 20-1 rushing lines. A 2-3 shaky start aside, the Bengals now boast the league's 8th ranked scoring offense and look absolutely lethal against an admittedly banged up Falcons secondary. Up next is a Monday night matchup against a Cleveland Browns secondary that hasn't exactly done a great job defending the deep ball this season. The Browns defense versus passes thrown 20 plus yards downfield. Number 28 in yards per attempt allowed with 19.4. 50% explosive pass play rate allowed. That's number 26 in the NFL. And 12.6 QB rating allowed. That's number 26. And as you can see, the hobby has not quite fully sold out on the fact that Joe Burrow is making a clear MVP and playoff push coming down the stretch here. They're being very slow to react to these last 2 weeks while forecasting for the upcoming matchups. His Optic Holo PSA 9, you can see the 1 week trend on his Optic Holo PSA 10, population of 947, 25 sales in the past month. If you look at the 1 year chart on that card was a high of $1,000 on average around the Super Bowl, now around $465. Look at the PSA 9, a pop of 830, and look at that 1 year trend chart. And in the past month, there have been 21 sales on this card, but overall, these values are down about 300% lower than where they were in the Super Bowl time frame. So I'd like to target Joe Burrow cards in auction of this type of quality, this type of grade. For example, here's a 2020 Optic Holo with a buy it now of 135, right there at the current trend of about 120. But seeing how this is so much lower than playoff time frame last year, it is a solid bet. I'm also looking for cards like this, the Prism, the Select Silvers, etc. in auction ending at atypical time. So I'll come in here and I'll do auction, I'll do ending soonest, and I will just hunt until I find some really good times and prices. Here's an interesting one ending this evening. That's a PSA 10 Pink Holo, another very popular card. Now our next target to buy this week is a wide receiver. Interesting target that I think we should stack with a certain quarterback we just talked about, but make sure you stay tuned to the end because I do have 2 sell high candidates for you right now. One of them a quarterback, one of them a running back that you guys need to hear about. So back to the action. So we're gonna skip over the running back hype index this week because the talent at the top has been pretty chalky the last few weeks, and their values, the demand is getting pretty high for them. There's definitely still some opportunity there. Like, I really like Khalil Herbert. You can still even find some opportunities on Josh Jacobs in auction. And the tight end market, of course, is dominated by Travis Kelce, and Mark Andrews is struggling with a little bit of health issues right now. Really love Dallas Goedert, Travis Kelce at the top. It's pretty consolidated at the top. You can see how much it drops off past Kelce and then Andrews and then Goddard. It just really starts to drop off really fast. And by far our biggest hype index chart, you can see how many players I'm tracking here for wide receivers. If we scroll up to the top here, you can get an idea of how far ahead Stephon Diggs is than all other wide receivers based on sheer production, guys, based on sheer production over expectations, plus the wins that the Buffalo Bills has been able to generate this year. So when I'm looking at this, I really want to dial in and dig into a guy that's kind of fell down the rankings the past few weeks, but is paired with stacked with the quarterback we were just talking about. And you can see this man right here, T. Higgins. And we did this last year when Chase was hot and Boyd had a monster game last week, only for T. Higgins to have some historic games down the stretch with Burrow. And a lot of this is due to the fact that Higgins missed most of week 5, a little ankle injury, and just hasn't got the touchdowns yet. He's only had 2 touchdowns so far this year, 6 last year. He still has an elite 93 to 95% route participation rate. He's gotten at least 1 red zone target in each of the past 2 games, while also totaling 17 targets in that stretch. So if you're buying Joe Burrow, then it only makes sense to buy T. Higgins. He's due for a monster downfield game and will be highly relevant down the stretch. We just talked about how weak the Browns secondary is against the deep ball. And when I find transactions like this right here, Silver Prism Auto Raw that ended yesterday in auction for $38, I'm licking my chops. This tells me all I need to know about auction hunting T. Higgins rookie cards right now. Or what about this SGC 1010 Origins on-card rookie auto for $56? Are you kidding me? This is exactly the price point they were at last year when we over doubled our money on this young man. So I've got a perfect example of a $35 buy it now. This T. Higgins Ruby Prism out of 35 with the sticker auto. It's got the big rookie text and the RC shield at the top. Got the serial number on the back of the card. Card appears to be in great condition. Also got the make offer button. Already 7 watchers. Free shipping. This card looks like a pretty smash buy. I think you come in here, make an offer close to the sell price. Easy snipe with a lot of upside. Now, on to the sell high this week. It's Trevor Lawrence, #1 overall draft pick from last year. About the only thing that Trevor Lawrence is doing good right now is completing passes off of play action. Everything else, he's literally one of the worst quarterbacks in the league in terms of efficiency. Accuracy rating number 20th, true completion percentage number 24th, deep ball completion percentage number 30th with only 28% complete. Pressured completion percentage, not good, number 29th, only 30% of those passes complete. Red zone completion percentage, only 50%, that's 17th. Clean pocket, only 27th in the league, that's 67%. Yet people in the hobby are still paying some pretty crazy prices for some of his cards. A prime example is a Freedom Candy case hit optic. Or what about this dual auto here with Trevor Lawrence and Zach Wilson? And maybe a lot of this is because Trey Lance broke his ankle, Mac got hurt and then lost his starting job to the Zappinator. Justin Fields not allowed to throw, but he's finally starting to run more, so that's promising. Davis Mills is having a terrible second season. So when you say all this, it kind of makes Trevor Lawrence sound pretty good, right? But the Jaguars got off to a 2-1 start. Trevor Lawrence got some additional hype. But since then, now they're 2-5 in the AFC South. I'm not sure they can make it out of. The defense has been slowly declining, and so has Trevor Lawrence's accuracy. It's clear to me at this point he's not ever going to be Peyton Manning or Troy Aikman, and I think you need to sell before people start coming to that conclusion for themselves. It's going to be difficult because they're playing the Denver Broncos, but it is in London this weekend in an island game. So maybe, based off of the UK fandom for the Jacksonville Jaguars, maybe it's more like a home game and you get a big Trevor Lawrence performance and you liquidate these Trevor Lawrence cards. Get out while you can. And my last sell high for this week is D'Onta Foreman, running back for the Carolina Panthers. And some people in the hobby would think Foreman's an upgrade this week thanks to the Christian McCaffrey trade and the fact he just put up 145 scrimmage yards last week in a big Carolina win over the Bucs. However, the overarching takeaway remains. He is the very definition of a sell-high candidate for 3 reasons, guys. He's the number 2 in terms of utilization. He worked behind Chuba Hubbard with only 35% of the snaps and 33% of the rushing attempt. Half of his work came in the fourth quarter after Hubbard left with an ankle injury. So, this could bet a fluid situation, but the first data point tells us he is behind a younger option that the team drafted. The Panthers aren't a good offense. The heavens aligned, the seas parted against Tampa Bay in Week 7 to allow for one of the most unlikely 118 rushing yards you'll see from any team all year. The Panthers still rushed the ball just 20.1 times per game in non-overtime play. That's last in the NFL. They score a touchdown on only 13% of drives. That's 30th in the NFL. Foreman is a 3rd-round draft pick from 2017, about to be 27 years old soon, and the RB market is in demand due to the higher demand for running backs, as running back scoring and production is up big time across the league. We're seeing all-time highs in running back production dating back to the 1990s. And when I see sold transactions like this in the buy it now format for D'Onta Foreman, I can see them continue to appreciate into this weekend against the Falcons. Maybe he has another solid performance, at which point you go ahead and sell these highs. Try and sell these D'Onta Foreman cards high now. Great opportunity to take advantage. Alright guys, happy hunting for now on eBay. I'll catch you out there on the trail. See you in that next video. Peace.